you guys. I know it's super late. Y'all probably done got all the scoop about the Diddy trial, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. Let's get into it. Of course, I'm late. I normally would have came on about 6-ish to talk about the Diddy trial, but I was behind catching up on the scoop today. But that's all right because we're here right now. So if you don't know, make sure I'm Sunshine. Sunshine God is here. This is my channel. Come on in, have a seat, get your little nice little drink, sit down, and let's have some conversation, okay? So make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel. Give me a thumbs up, okay? So I just want to give you some information from the Diddy trial from Thursday, May 15th. Today is the 15th. Yeah, so yeah, let's get into it. Let's get right into it. So from the beginning, of course, the lawyers were going back and forth, the prosecution and the defense, because they stayed after yesterday as well. After court ended, they stayed over. So they've been doing that a lot lately because the defense is really presenting evidence that they're not telling the U.S. Government about, or the prosecution about. So then they have to keep going back and forth about evidence and things of that nature. So the judge started off by saying that the defense had until 4:30 p.m. with Cassie. So he pretty much wanted to make that very clear because yesterday, what's up, Dwight? Hello, how are you? Thank you so much. Yes, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm talking about the Diddy trial, of course. Trying to wrap it up for today. Oh, hold up. Today is not Thursday, it's Friday. I just realized I said Thursday, but it's Friday. It's good to see you too, Dwight. Yeah, make sure you give me a thumbs up. But so the judge started off by saying, look, the to the defense that y'all will have Cassie until 4:30. That's it. If you don't remember or you don't know, yesterday there was a big mess with the defense. They were holding Cassie up, asking her a whole bunch of questions that didn't really seem like they made sense. And to this morning, the judge was not having it. He came in there. The first thing he said to the defense was, look, if y'all want Cassie, y'all want to question her, y'all have until 4:30. We're not going no longer than that. Because I know what the judge thought that, sure. What's up, Chris? Hello, you guys. Make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel here. Give me a thumbs up. We're talking about the Diddy case, and y'all, it is juicy, okay? They ended it quite well, I would say, on a Friday, okay? So what happened was the defense came in today, and they were pretty much trying to make this case linger on, make the questioning with Cassie linger on into next week. So the judge came in and he said, no, we're not doing that today. Y'all will have Cassie until 4:30 p.m. That is the latest. So I believe they wrapped up with Cassie a little bit before then, but the judge definitely came in and set the tone. He said, y'all not getting her for next week. He said, we have a pregnant woman that's testifying and we're trying to get her wrapped up today. So the judge made that very clear because yesterday the defense was saying they needed to question Cassie until next week and possibly even the end of the month. And the judge was like, no. Oh, heck no. Okay, so he made that very clear today. I thought that was real cute of the defense to try that. What's up? Hi, what's up? What's up? Thank you so much for joining my YouTube channel here. Make sure you guys give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel, guys. Come on. Be a subby. So Diddy's lawyers were saying that they wanted to show a video of Diddy on his spiritual walk because I guess Diddy went to like a spiritual camp or something, retreat, they said, with the bishop. And I'm assuming that was TD Jakes because TD Jakes is the bishop. But they never did make that clear. But they did say he was on a spiritual journey at some point with the bishop. So I guess during that time he did like a video of himself walking in nature, and the defense wanted to show this video, but the prosecution was like, this video is not relevant to anything. So they argued about that, and I believe they are not going to show that video because it's really irrelevant, because it just supposedly shows Diddy just walking in nature. Let's see here. Cassie was dating an NFL player. We're going to find out here, but they didn't tell who the NFL player was. But Cassie was doing a whole lot of dating as well as Diddy. I will say they both were doing a lot of dating. Diddy got upset with Cassie about that NFL player. Um, Diddy also said that Cassie was dating or dancing with Chris Brown, and he believed that Cassie had a freak off with Chris Brown, and she denied that on the stand. She completely denied it. Okay, okay, okay. I have to look for it, Dwight. I don't know. Let's see here. Um, Oh, the defense was all over the place. They were asking random questions, just like they have been doing the whole time of the trial. They've been asking questions for anywhere in between that whole almost 11-year relationship that Cassie had with Diddy. They start off asking questions about the beginning of the relationship, then they moved into all the way to the end, then they would go back in the middle. So a lot of stuff you'll hear me say might is not lined up correctly because this is just how the questions were asked. So you might hear me repeat things over and over. It's because the defense and the prosecution were asking questions 2 and 3 times. I was watching Armand Wiggins. Y'all check his YouTube channel out. Thank you so much for the scoop, sir. He has actually been sitting in the courthouse watching the case, watching the trial in person. So thank you so much for giving us the scoop from the inside. So I was watching him to find out what was really going on in the courtroom, and he said Cassie came she was in a pinstripe suit, and he said she was looking like something straight out the Met Gala. He said she looked like money. Okay, pretty much. She looked good. She looked like money. Let's see here. So so just to recap from yesterday, because I didn't mention this part, but Cassie said that she met Prince at a Diddy party. Prince let Diddy have a party at his house. And so Cassie was able to meet Prince, and she said that she was able to watch Prince perform because he performed at the party, which was at his house. Um, Cassie did acknowledge that she had a freak off with Diddy after he R-worded her. That was weird. The defense wanted to make it clear that Cassie agreed to freak offs and to do rugs, and Cassie made it very clear that she did that. So, of course, today when they started the trial, Cassie was questioned by the defense, and then the government came back, asked her questions, and then the defense asked her questions again. So they kind of went back and forth, and then they went on to 2 more witnesses, and we're going to get into that, okay? So they said Cassie threatened to unalive a DJ who said he had her video, her freak off video. So, and the defense wanted to, I guess, prove that Cassie has a anger problem as well. So what had happened was there was a DJ. What's the DJ name? There was a DJ, One Kid or One Kid. The DJ named One Kid was friends with Cassie was friends with Cassie friend Sajut. Sajut said that I guess Sajut told his friend, the DJ, Kid, that he had a freak off video of Cassie, and Kid, the DJ, went and told Cassie, "Oh, I saw a freak off video with you and whoever." I guess whoever she was in the freak off video with, supposedly. And Cassie got real upset. She even said that she was going to unalive the DJ. And then come to find out, I guess she asked him, how did he find out about a freak off video? Because she was very paranoid that the videos would get out. So for some reason, somebody was putting the freak off videos out, and some people was getting them. Who you think that was? But anyway, so could have been anybody. Could have been the people who were involved in the freak off videos, right? But so Cassie asked the DJ where did he get the video from. The DJ told her he got it from her friend, which was the Sajet. And so Cassie confronted Sajet, her supposedly friend, and he told her that yeah, he had the video, but he couldn't give it to her. So that was a whole mess there. Cassie threatened to unalive both of them. She said that she would get rid of them, and they didn't go into. I don't have too many details about that, so they must have didn't get too deep into it because nothing happened to them. But it definitely came up, and I believe the defense was wanting to say that Cassie has an anger problem just like Diddy. Let's see here. So Cassie was treated at a facility called the Willow House in Arizona. There was a therapist that helped her to recount memories. So part of it was part of the trauma therapy that Cassie was taking because of all the drugs she took and the abuse and the freak offs. So also there at that Willow House, they also did help people with like sex ex addiction. I wasn't supposed to say that. sex addiction. And I forgot something else, but it's gonna come up here. Let's see here. So the Willow House helped people to recount memories and go back to the memories and change the memory. So supposedly they do something by going into the brain somehow, maybe stimulating the brain waves or something to bring back the memory and then replace that memory with another memory so that way she could get past her trauma. I've never heard of anything like this. It sounds like some type of get out mess where they was in there messing with people's brains and stuff. I don't know. But Dwight, my day was good. Thank you so much for asking. How was your day, sir? Yeah, let's see here. So she said she wasn't, oh, and that Willow House, they also treat people for who's addicted to love. This is what they're saying, y'all. I know some of this stuff might sound real weird, but I guess this is rich people stuff because I don't know anything about this type of stuff right here. So yeah, so she said she didn't get treated for the love addiction or the sex addiction, only for the memory, the trauma therapy. Um, Oh, so Cassie allegedly told the DJ and her supposedly friend that she'd never ever deleted anybody in her life, but she would delete them. That's what she said, and they said in the courtroom when the defense read that out, that Cassie looked shocked, like she was shocked that they said she said that. Like, girl, you know what you said. So again, if I haven't told you all, so the judge is Arun Subramanian, and he made it clear, real clear, during one of the breaks they had during court today, that he said, we are not going to proceed in this fashion because the defense and the government kept going back and forth about little things, the evidence and all types of stuff. They were doing a whole lot of arguing. So the judge put a stop to that and said, we're not doing this. Okay. So Cassie was being asked to read a lot of text messages about the FOs, the freak offs, in 2010, where the couple communicated via BlackBerry. And then in 2012, they said Cassie switched to an iPhone. In 2016, she was riding in a car with Diddy in LA. He snatched her phone away from her and he called an NFL player that she was seeing. So I guess he had news that Cassie was seeing an NFL player. So he took her for a ride, and while she was in the car, he snatched her phone and called the NFL player. But they didn't tell us what NFL player it was. So I do know the defense asked Cassie, was she dating the NFL player? And she said, well, he wasn't an NFL player at the time. So either he was retired or he was like forced out of the NFL or something. I don't know. But let's see here. So she said when she returned home, she was staying with her mom. At the time, she returned home without her phone. She probably was crying and upset. Her mom ended up calling the police. Let's see here. So during the afternoon, this is I forgot who I was watching at this time. Probably the surprise witness, BJ Investigates. Y'all check out her channel as well. She gives a lot of coverage for this Diddy trial. Also, I've been following her, but she was reading Inner City Press Conversations. He's also that guy who handles that, or who does those tweets. He's actually in the courtroom as well in New York City. But he was telling about the atmosphere in the courtroom. So he said the jury took a lot of short breaks. During one time, Diddy's attorney left the room to get exhibits in order. Diddy was sitting alone at his defense table. He asked a junior member of his legal team to adjust the monitor so he could see it clearly. So that just lets you know that, Diddy was in there, making moves like he's the boss man that he thinks he is. His sons were sitting behind him, and his sister was in court. How many people knew Diddy even had a sister? I didn't even know Diddy had a sister. I didn't know till today. So Cassie supposedly had found a picture of Diddy and Gina while she was at her mom's house in Connecticut. So I guess something happened. Those two weren't together. Cassie was at her mom's house in Connecticut. She probably saw a picture online of Diddy with Gina. If you don't know, Gina is the girl who Tasha K interviewed, who told us way back in the day that Diddy was the type to stump a woman in her face. And we didn't believe her then when she said it. Yeah, so Gina said that first. And a lot of people didn't believe her. So, she said it because she said he did it to her. But now she won't testify. But anyway, let's see here. They said Cassie texts she didn't need Diddy taking care of Kim and Gina. She needed him to put her first. She said, you lied to me about Gina. I thought she went away. She never went away. Diddy's defense lawyer is Estavio. Estavio asked Diddy, asked Cassie. She said, Diddy responded, can I not get a chance to make things right? I haven't I taken care of you? And Cassie said, you took care of me materialistically, not where I needed you. I needed you to love me and put me first. So I guess they want to show there that Cassie and Diddy went back and forth, messing with different people and being in love. Both of them hurt each other pretty much. I guess they're trying to say. I'm not sure. Cassie said you took care of me materialistically, but she needed love and she needed him to put her first. She really wanted to be in a like a serious relationship with Diddy, but that's not the type of relationship he wanted. Um, uh, So now Diddy was probably having I'm just saying Diddy was probably having intercourse with everyone. Gina, Sarah, that girl Sarah, I believe that was 50 Cent ex baby mama, I think, and Kim and Cassie. So he was messing with a whole lot of different women. Um, so he probably was having freak offs with them as well. Because Gina, I'm pretty sure he was having freak offs with her because their relationship was really traumatic. If you listen to that Tasha K interview she did with Gina, oh boy, that might make you cry. Okay. So they want to talk about the defense want to talk about, this is not a criminal activity, it's just lovers going through what they call it, having an open relationship pretty much. But actually, if Diddy was having freak offs with Kim, which I believe he was, but that's just my opinion, and Gina and the Sarah chick, then he would have had to arrange for the escorts for those parties as well, right? So not only is he paying for all these men to be with Cassie, he paying for a whole bunch of men to be with these other women as well. So this is considered a criminal activity because he's probably doing the same thing with those women that he was doing with Cassie, which was paying for escorts to do the freak offs. So do you think that's criminal? But anyway, let's get back to it here. Yeah, it is getting real hot outside. Let's see here. So, the defense asks Cassie who arranged the freak offs. Cassie said Diddy's staff would arrange the freak offs. Um, They asked when Cassie met with the U.S. attorneys. She said in November 2023 and then again in April 2025. So I thought that was a good question to ask because I was thinking that Cassie was probably dealing with the government for years and years. And actually, after she filed the lawsuit, she's saying that that's when she actually started working with the government. That was in November after her settlement, because I believe her settlement was in October. Y'all, it's gonna get real crazy. Y'all wait to the end of this video, okay? Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel here, because if you haven't heard the ending of today's trial, you're gonna be very shocked. So make sure you guys stay to the end here. Yeah, I was thinking the government probably helped her with that first lawsuit because they knew this was going to come up, and they probably were telling her, I don't know. That was my opinion back then when the lawsuit came out, that she probably was working with the government, but they never said that, of course. Why would they? Let's see here. So the defense asked about texts from 2010. Cassie said she was afraid of Diddy. He would get up real upset if she didn't want to do freak offs. Um, Cassie asked Diddy if he would do a freak off with a girl, and he pretty much was like, so why you want to break the routine and stuff? He was asking questions like, I don't know why the defense asked that question, because it made it look like Diddy really just want to see men and Cassie, because Cassie was asking a girl freak off with a girl, like question mark, and Diddy was pretty much like, why you want to break the routine, like we don't do it like that. I don't know. It just seemed like the defense is really not working for Diddy. I'm not sure where they're going with this, but I guess we're going to find out, right? Diddy would call himself Frank Black. Now, remember that because that name is going to come up a lot. So, Diddy would be, when he would check into a hotel, he would call himself Frank Black. So yeah, you might have heard that already because I have mentioned that already um, since I've been covering the trial here. We found out that in 2018, the dinner Diddy invited Cassie to was at a Italian restaurant in Malibu, California. So I was thinking the dinner was at like his house or something, but he actually took her out. Come to find out, she was now that dinner was supposed to be Cassie and Diddy coming together to talk about ending their relationship. And actually, they had a freak off before that dinner, and it looks like they had a freak off after that dinner. And during that time, Cassie was with her husband. He was her boyfriend, but now he's her husband, right? But Cassie was with Alex around that time. So the defense is going to keep asking her questions about that time frame because Cassie said in August she got with Alex Fine, her husband, and then but there's text messages with her and Diddy saying they were messing around in August and September. So I guess the defense wanted to pretty much show that Cassie is a cheater and a liar because I'm pretty sure she didn't tell Alex about her messing with Diddy still. But this is the thing, you guys. Diddy paid for Cassie to have a personal trainer, which was Alex. And Alex was messing with Cassie, knowing that Cassie was messing with Diddy. So it's like, what are you really proving here? And then on top of that, Alex knew he was messing with somebody that was unavailable to him because he couldn't live up to Diddy. So he would have to know that he's just the what you call the person that you get with after you break up with the guy you really wanted, or Alex was the rebound. Okay. And he knew he was the rebound. He had to know that. So I'm not sure why they're going back and forth. I guess the defense is doing this for the jury to try to make Cassie look real bad. But to me, it didn't work because Alex would have definitely had to know that he couldn't compete with Diddy, and Cassie was probably going to go back with Diddy. He probably was shocked that she stayed with him. But I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to it. Let's see here. Oh, so Cassie sent Diddy a text message saying that she didn't hate him. He asked her if she hated him, if she didn't like him. She said no, she didn't hate him. Estavio is that's Anna Estavio. I may be saying her name wrong. I'm not quite sure, but she works for Diddy's team of lawyers, and she was the one asking questions the whole time. She asked if Cassie still had love for Diddy. Cassie said, I have love for the past, what it was. So I guess she's trying to say she don't still have love for Diddy. She had love for what they were going through during that time, but not anymore. I don't believe that. Not at all. And I'm pretty sure the way she said it probably made no one in the courtroom believe it. But whatever, let's get into it here. So okay, so now I took a lot of notes from Ahmad Wiggins because, like I said, he was actually in the courtroom, and he was the only one I was able to get the scoop from to find out what was really going on in the courthouse versus just hearing what's going, the conversation that was had. So he said that today Cassie was acting like she didn't remember a lot of stuff. So she was in there acting like she had memory loss. So the defense was asking her a lot of questions that she couldn't remember. She had to be reminded of a lot of things today. Hold on one moment. Okay. Sorry about that. Had to get some chapstick for the lips. All right, I'm back. Let's see here. Okay, so the defense, or the either the must be the prosecution, was pretty much saying that Diddy would take things from Cassie, including her phone and her car. So I guess not only was Diddy paying for Cassie's apartment, he was also paying for her car because he was taking her car from her. So her phone, he would take her phone from her car from her, just like she was a little kid. Diddy paid a lot of people off during that time because a lot of people were threatening him to put out freak off videos. So I guess people in their circle were getting freak off videos somehow. I'm not sure. They never did say, but and then they would blackmail Diddy or Cassie for the videos. Now, you already heard about Cassie being blackmailed from the DJ and supposedly her friend. So they didn't have to pay them or anything. I believe Cassie never got the video from that friend or the DJ, but a lot of other people did threaten, blackmail Diddy and Cassie, and Diddy did pay a lot of people off for freak off videos. He did do that. They made that very clear in court today. Let's see here. They said Cassie didn't trust Jonathan Adi. Cassie said that she found out that Adi secretly recorded them and she didn't even know about it. And then the next thing she knew, he had asked for $5 million and Diddy paid it. Um, they both talked about in text messages getting rid of Jonathan Adi, but they never said how. Y'all, that's exclusive right there. That is huge. They said they admitted in text messages, they both said together that we need to get rid of Jonathan Adi. Now, mind you, he's still alive, but it's probably because he was locked up. And if you don't remember, Jonathan Adi was going through a whole lot while he was in jail because he couldn't get in court. And it's rumored that he was being protected by the federal government. So I don't know if that's true or not. That's alleged, but it would make sense, especially if there's a bounty on his head. But I guess we don't know, right? They didn't specify for Cassie to tell, what does that mean? We need to get rid of him. They didn't go into details. Um, Armand said the defense presented wrong evidence. They were sloppy. They couldn't get it together a lot today. He said the defense was all over the place. They were asking questions about when they first got together and mixing it up like it was at the end of the relationship, like they would say, "Oh, well, you love Diddy at the end, right?" Or and then they would say, well, here's a text message. You said, I love you so much, I want to be with you. But that text message was from 2008 or 2012, around the time like the beginning of the relationship. So Amon said that they were pretty much, the defense was pretty much like all over the place. Like pretty much probably trying to confuse the jury, in my opinion. Um, it said that, come to find out, Cassie is still on medication for the opiate addiction. So I guess this medication that she takes is something like buprenorphine, porphin, porphine, porphine. I don't know. It's a opiate addiction medication that she can still take now while she's pregnant. So yeah. So Estavio was real shady, Amon said, um, because Estavio, which is Diddy's defense team, said, you were in for the Wheelhouse facility, right? And you were writing a document. Oh, or was it a book? So they were trying to call her document a book. I guess trying to get up under her skin or something. Amon said that it didn't work. They were definitely trying to play Cassie by being very shady towards her and saying a lot of shady stuff. Like when they were asking, so you were with Alex, but you were still messing or having freak offs with Diddy. Is that right? You know, saying stuff like that. But Cassie did answer, and she said she was writing a book. She had started writing a book while she was at the Wheelhouse. And the Wheelhouse, again, that was where she went to get the memory therapy to help with the trauma that she experienced. Okay? And so they asked her, Estavio asked her, that facility is also for sex addicts, right? And Cassie said she didn't know that. Um, they asked her, was she doing the neurofeedback, which opens your brain to remove trauma so you can move forward? And she said yes. The defense is trying to make Cassie look unstable because she did the neurofeedback like 6 times a day. So Cassie was taking, or probably still, I'm not sure. Cassie was taking some type of therapy to help with her memory, because what they would do would go into like stimulate her mind to bring up the memory of the trauma, and then they would change the story of the trauma somehow. I don't know how they did it, but they would do this neurofeedback 5 to 6 times a day when she stayed there. And I believe she stayed there. Did they say? They didn't even say how long she stayed there. So I guess she got that done a lot, because that was 5 or 6 times a day. I'm not sure how long she stayed there. I don't remember them saying that. But the defense asks, when did you break up with Diddy and got with Alex? So again, this is when the defense is really being real messy. They're trying to find out when Cassie was messing with Alex and when she was messing with Diddy. Probably trying to make Cassie look like, she's a cheater as well. She's a liar also. Probably want to catch her up in a lie or two. Of course, Armand said that Cassie was acting real forgetful today. So it probably worked a little bit, making her look uncredible. Uncredible? Yeah, I think that's right. I don't know why it sounds crazy. So in 2018, while on a break, they asked Cassie if she was dating Alex, and she said yes. Armand says that Cassie was looking very nervous doing this questioning around the 28 time frame. Now, I'm pretty sure Alex Fine knew that Cassie was still messing with Diddy, after they got together. I'm pretty sure, but whatever. But Amon said that Cassie looked very uncomfortable. She kept moving a lot. She was crying. She was doing a lot of crying. She was leaning back in her chair. She was showing herself to be very uncomfortable during this time when the defense was asking her about her being with Diddy and Alex at the same time. The defense said before the R word, Cassie sent messages to Diddy saying that she wanted to F Diddy. So, they was being real messy. I guess wanted to make sure her husband knew that she was messing with Diddy, even though he was the one who paid for him to work with Cassie. So, what I don't know. Anyway, so September 2018, Diddy texts Cassie he said, I need you. He said, I want to see you and F you. And she declined. Oh, and she declined the call from Alex. So I guess they're showing that Diddy text Cassie and said that I need you, I need to see you, I want to F you. And Cassie said, okay, where she showed up while her and Diddy was together. Alex was calling her, and somehow the defense had all this evidence that Alex was calling her at the time. She probably told Diddy that Alex is calling me, and he probably said, "Put that phone up. You don't need him. You got me. Put that phone up." And of course, that's how the defense knew about it and brought it up in court today. So that was another little messy thing that they were doing. Let's see here. So again, during that time, Cassie was dating Alex, but still seeing Diddy. And they said that was in September. So, of course, Cassie said she started messing with Alex in August 2018. But this, excuse me, happened in September 2018. Cassie also texted Diddy saying she needed him to hold her. The defense really made Cassie look like looking look like she was being a hoe by messing with Alex and Diddy. They said, "Oh, I have nothing to drink." Excuse me. My throat feel dry. Let's see here. Cassie did admit that she was still talking to Diddy while she was seeing Alex. She made that very clear. Cassie kept a lot of her messages, though, short and friendly after she started messing with Alex. Cassie said she wouldn't be at this beautiful point in her life without Diddy because they were still communicating after Cassie got with Alex. Her and Diddy, even once they stopped having intercourse, they were still talking as friends up until 2014, I believe. We gonna get into it, y'all. I'm telling you, it ends very crazy today. But let's get into it, you guys. Make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel here. And here go my nose. Because I will be giving you the latest Diddy news, okay? Let's see here. After she got with Alex, she had to move in with her parents. The defense was pretty much asking Cassie a lot of questions about her finances once she got with Alex. So I'm pretty sure the defense was trying to, say, okay, well, when you was with Diddy, you didn't have financial problems, but once you left Diddy, then you got with a man that you probably really didn't want because you was still messing with Diddy. And then also, y'all were broke because the defense asked her, so after once you and Alex got back together, you had to move in. You and him moved in with your mom. And she said yes, but it wasn't because of financial reasons. She said it was because they moved to a different state. That's what she said. But y'all, it gets real strange, real strange. It gets very strange. Oh, okay, let's get into it. Let me see here. Um, Estavio said then Cassie filed the lawsuit. So after Cassie was with Alex, after she stopped messing with Diddy, it seemed Cassie wasn't doing any touring. She wasn't doing any promotion. She wasn't doing any movies. So the defense was pretty much asking her, about her finances. They never did ask how did she get money after she got with Diddy, but they were asking her, did you do any concerts? Did you do any touring? So you all just had to live off the little money Alex made. They were very shady towards Cassie and Alex, of course. That's not surprising. Let's see here. So they asked Cassie, so then in 2023, you filed the lawsuit against Diddy. She said it wasn't because she needed money. Estavio asks, you didn't have a concert. She said yes, but she had to cancel it. So I guess around the time that Cassie filed the lawsuit in 2023 with Diddy, she also had a tour. She was going to go on tour in Australia, a tour, but that's funny. But she was going to go on tour in Australia, but she canceled it once they settled the case, the lawsuit, real quickly. And Cassie said, well, she canceled the tour because she didn't want to deal with all the drama from the media, and she said she wouldn't have been in the right mind frame to do a tour and go through everything she was going through in the media, because a lot of people wanted to know. They had questions. They were asking her things about the Diddy trial, the Diddy case, and she didn't want to talk about it. She said so she couldn't do it. She had to cancel it. Estavio said because you got a $20 million settlement. That's why you canceled it. She said, no, that's not why. Cassie said she was supposed to be in the video with Common, but Diddy blocked it. Now, I don't know when this time happened, when Cassie was supposed to be in the video with Common, the rapper Common. But however, Cassie made it very clear that after when her and Diddy was on the offs, or once they split up, she was blocked from everyone. She was pretty much blackballed, is what she was saying. She had things that she could do, but Diddy would block it. So to me, that seemed like something that would hurt Diddy's credibility, but whatever. Let's see here. Cassie said she was supposed to be in that video, but did he blackmail her? Estavio asked after she got with Alex, did she perform, go on tour? She said no. I think they were trying to say she was broke. The prosecution started asking questions. They cross-examined Cassie, and they asked why she canceled the tour in Australia. She said she wasn't in the right headspace to go on tour because of all the social media press. The prosecution asked Cassie if the $20 million was worth it. Cassie started crying very heavily, and she said no, it wasn't. She said she wished she would have just continued to be an artist. First of all, child, if you don't sit down somewhere with that, okay? Because I don't know who gave her that song, Me and You. But that's the only song I know by Cassie. But I understand what she's saying. She's a very pretty girl. I'm sure her career would have went far at some type of capacity because of her looks alone. But to be honest, the music wasn't hitting. Okay. Let's see here. Let me see. Cassie said she would have just she wouldn't have, if she could take it all back, she wouldn't have took the $20 million because she'll be an artist making her own money. And she probably also wanted to say that, she wouldn't have all those blocks because Diddy was blackballing her a lot. Then she started crying while leaning back in the chair. She had a lot of people in the courtroom crying too. She said all the time during the freak off, Diddy would beat her, punch her, and she was worried about her safety. She said she was worried he didn't want to be with her. Amar said that people in the seats were crying. The defense came back to redirect again, and they were saying, "You got you got to go on red carpets. You got to go to the Met Gala. You had opportunities because you met a lot of different celebrities." So I guess they're trying to say that Cassie had a lot of opportunities. I don't know where they really was trying to go with this. But they did make a very, very, very good point, y'all. It's about to get real good here. Listen up, you guys. Make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel and give me a thumbs up, okay? So let's get to it. So this is the real messy mess right here that I was shocked. I've never heard about. This was the shocker, okay? So wait a minute. I got something else to say before that. Excuse me. So the defense came back and redirect. They said, so you were on red carpets. You went to the Met Gala. You met celebrities. You had plenty of opportunities. You know people. Cassie said she earned everything she had. The defense said you had a rockabye baby mixtape. You made records with Lil Wayne, Rick Ross, Nicki Minaj, Pusha T. Y'all, I don't know about none of them records she made. I don't know no song she made, Cassie made with Rick Ross, Pusha T, Nicki Minaj. When she did all that, I don't remember that. But anyway, um, so let's see here. The defense asks, were you always self-conscious about your work? So Amon said that when they asked her, wasn't you always self-conscious about her work? They were pretty much trying to, like, that was a jab. They were being shady, trying to almost say like, you really wasn't that good, right? Cassie had to know she wasn't that great. I don't know if y'all remember, but when she first came out, before, I guess her and Diddy was messing around then, you could pretty much tell. But they did an interview on like YouTube or somewhere. They did an interview for somewhere. I saw it on YouTube. Cassie had performed at 106 in Park, and it really was a flop. It was terrible. A lot of people were talking about how she didn't sound good. So the defense asked Cassie, so you performed at 106 in Park, right? And she said, yes. And they said, so it didn't come out. You didn't get the response that you was looking for, right? And Cassie said, no. She said, I couldn't. They asked what happened. She said she couldn't hear herself. So I guess she's saying that she didn't sound good because she couldn't hear herself with the microphone or something. I don't know. Anyway, so when they asked her this question here, they were like, you were real self conscious about your work, right? And Cassie was like, no, even though I don't believe that. But they probably said that because did he know how she was feeling? And he probably made her feel like that because he made her sign a 10-album deal. Cassie made one album. Cassie also admitted that she couldn't, Diddy would not let her work on her album, but instead she had to do freak offs. So the only time he would spend with her would be when she did those freak offs or they would be partying. Other than that, he did not have her in the studio, and Cassie did complain about she didn't have the opportunities because he kept her from working. And so I guess what the defense is trying to say is you had a lot of opportunities. You knew a lot of people. You can get a lot of stuff. But Cassie also said that she was blackballed. So she didn't have opportunities. She couldn't do a lot of things because people wouldn't work with her because Diddy said no. And I could believe that's a real thing. So then they asked they asked Cassie if she had any pending lawsuits, y'all. Cassie said no. So they went on to say, so you have no pending lawsuits? No one's trying to sue you right now? You're not suing anyone? And Cassie said no. Real matter of factly, like, no, no. So they asked her, y'all, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? I need to get a subscriber. I need a subscriber to subscribe to my channel because if you didn't know, you're about to find out, okay? Y'all, a subscriber hit me up. Hold on. So they asked Cassie, you don't have any pending lawsuits. You're not suing no one. No one is suing you. And Cassie said, no, no. So Estavio, which is Anna Estavio, whatever, the defense, she said, um, you didn't receive a settlement from Intercontinental? And Cassie says, yes. And they asked her, how much did you receive a settlement for from Intercontinental? Now, if you don't know, Intercontinental is the hotel where Cassie got dragged and beat up at by Diddy. So no one knew, but Cassie sued them. And they didn't want to go to court. So Intercontinental settled with Cassie last week, y'all. She just got a new settlement from the hotel last week. Guess for how much? $10 million. So Cassie said, yes, she did get a settlement last week. And they asked her for how much? And she said $10 million. It was a settlement, not a court case. So not only did Cassie get $20 million from Diddy, which she asked for 30. She asked for $30 million from Diddy, but they settled for $20 million. Then just last week, y'all, last week, Cassie settled a lawsuit with the hotel that showed her being dragged everywhere. She settled with them last week for $10 million more dollars. So of course she walking up in the courtroom looking like $1 million because she getting all these millions. But what I don't understand is, now that seems wrong. That seems completely wrong because what can you be suing them for? Because not only were you having, oh, thanks Christy doing things. I don't know if you on this or if that's some of my other stuff, something I posted or commented on. But thanks for that, Christy. But yeah, what? I can't believe Cassie got $10 million from that hotel last week. Did you guys even know that? I didn't know nothing about that. Didn't hear anything about that. That is wild to me because she was still messing with Diddy way after that. Way after that. She was still messing with Diddy up until 2018. And that happened in what? When did that happen? With Cassie at the hotel. That was 2016? Hmm. Let me see if I can find real quick. Let me see. 2012. Was that 2012? I think that was 2012, you guys. I can't find the date, but I think that was 2012. Cassie got drugged at that hotel. And then she sued them, y'all. Why would they even give her a settlement? That doesn't make sense to me. Because once she called security, they came and walked her out. They came and helped her get up out of there safely. Once she called them, I mean, she knew she was in there. Now, see, that seems criminal. And I wonder if the hotel can go back and get that money back from Cassie, because I wonder what the details are of Cassie suing that hotel. Because she continued to mess with Diddy after that. And they had a freak off in the hotel. And you knew how Diddy attitude was. So why is you suing Intercontinental? So I wonder if her suing them is because they were the ones who put the tape out. Now that would be grounds for a lawsuit. That makes sense to me. But I don't know. I don't know. They didn't really go into details. Once that happened, Amon said that the courtroom went wild. Like nobody was talking, but everybody was shifting in their chair. Like he said, even the jury was like, he said that Amon said the jury was shocked. Everybody in the courtroom was shocked. No one said stuff, like people wasn't talking out of order, but everyone was moving around like this bitch should know good well. This girl ain't just get $10 million from that hotel. Yes, she did, y'all. $10 million. So the prosecution came back after that, okay? Of course they was going to come back after that, right? They asked Cassie to tell the jury that she is not getting paid to do this trial here. And she said no. The defense came back again, y'all. And the defense said, tell the jury that you just got the settlement from the hotel last week. She said yes. That's when everybody said, what? So anyway, so that was Cassie's questioning for today. So after that, they brought in one of the officers who worked for the Homeland Security, and she was pretty much telling about the scene from the hotel where they picked Diddy up. Now, if you remember, Diddy got picked up from a hotel in New York. Let me remind you who Diddy was with. Remember, Diddy was walking into the hotel with a whole bunch of dudes, right? It was no women with him, mind you, of that. So when he started walking into the hotel, the Homeland Security, they came and snatched him up, and then they took him to his room. Y'all remember that video, right? So this lady, her name is Binda. Yasin Binda. Yasin Binda. Yasin Binda. Yasin Binda. So she was one of the officers, and she testified about what was in the hotel room. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready for this? Are you ready? Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel here, okay? Because I got the scoop for you. If you haven't heard, now you know, okay? So she said she was asked, who did you subpoena in court? And who did you subpoena to court? And she said Paul Author. So I'm not sure who Paul Author is, but Amon Wiggins says that he looks very gay. Now this is his words, not mine. I'm not even sure why he said that. I'm thinking this is probably going to be a potential another witness that'll come about later on in the case. They showed the hotel where Diddy was arrested. They showed pictures of every room. So he must have had a suite because they said they had pictures from like a living room, the bedroom, the bathroom, and the kitchen. So he must have had a suite, maybe. I'm not quite sure. They didn't make it clear. They asked what her role was. She said her role was to take pictures there, right? Who took a like away? Why you took a like away? The room was 2115. That was the room number for wherever hotel that was. Um, they showed all the rooms. They asked what was in the room. Here we go. Here we go. Now this is the government asking Yazimba, which is the lady who worked for Homeland Security. They asked her what was in the room. And here we go, y'all. She said it was 4 bottles of baby oil in a Ziploc bag when you first walked in. It was 2 bottles of Astroglide. Soon as she walked in the room, the cameras were plugged in to the left, to the right of the room. Mood lights were on. So the regular lights were not on. Diddy had mood lights on in the room. It was 4 bottles of baby oil in a Ziploc bag on a counter and 2 bottles of Astroglide. Cameras were in the room plugged up. So he loves to record his work for some reason. They said the cameras were plugged up on the wall and there was a USB input. Oh, I was like, who is that? But I know who that is. But yeah, let's see here. There were flickering mood lights. So not just any type of mood lights. The mood lights were flickering. So the room was already set up like, y'all, I just thought about something. So remember now, Diddy doesn't set up the rooms for freak offs. His team sets up the room for freak offs. So I wonder if he was just coming to that room for the first time. When we saw him getting out of the car, I wonder if he was just coming there for the first time. I don't know, y'all. We're going to talk about this again later on because it's a lot. So anyway, in the bathroom was 5 bottles of baby oil sitting in the tub. So he had 5 bottles of baby oil just sitting in the tub. Like the baby oil wasn't spilled in the tub. It was like sitting in the tub. So I guess that tub was probably going to get filled up with those 5 bottles of baby oil. They found a bottle of pills in a Louis Vuitton bag, and the pill bottle was made out to Frank Black. And if you don't know, Frank Black was the name that Diddy went by when he would rent the rooms for the freak-offs. There were 2 big bags of pink powder, ketamine and MDMA. I don't even know what those drugs are. And there were 2 phones. There was a fanny pack also with $9,000 in it, and it was sitting by the door as well. This was in a hotel where Diddy was arrested at. Okay, then the defense, they called Don Richard. They then the defense called Don Richard. Don Richard. You know what was it? This the defense? No, I think the prosecution called Don Richard. But anyway, let's see. So, who reportedly looked pissed off, Amon said. Amon Wiggins, what's up, Braden? I hope you did you hear all the stuff, Braden? Have you heard the messiness that was going on in the courtroom today? Okay, Cassie got paid $10 million from that hotel. Did you know that, Braden? Just last week, Cassie got paid $10 million settlement. Very wild. I cannot believe. Why would she even sue them? What did they do? I don't understand. It's crazy to me. And so, Braden, did you hear about what was in Diddy's bathroom at the hotel? So they said, I mean, Diddy's hotel room. So when Diddy came to the hotel and he got picked up by the Homeland Security, they found 4 bottles of baby oil in a Ziploc bag sitting right at the door when you walk in the room, 2 bottles of Astroglide. They said cameras were plugged up to the right when you walk in the room. Braden, it gets crazier. Okay. They said flickering mood lights were already on. The mood was already set in the room. Okay. It was like it was set up for a freak off. It was 5 bottles of baby oil sitting in the tub. Okay. They found pills in a Louis Vuitton bag that were made out to Frank Black. And Frank Black is the name that Diddy used when he would go on freak offs. He was like, you know how Beyonce had the name Sasha Fierce? No, they were closed. Like the staff left it there. Like the room was set up, like the staff came and set the room up, and then Diddy was coming to the room to have a freak off. That's pretty much how the room was already set up, because the baby oil was, everything was prepped, everything was fresh and new. He hadn't had a freak off in that room at that time because everything was fresh and new. And I believe Diddy had just got to New York when they picked him up. So they found pill bottles in there with his name on it, or Frank Black name on it, which we know that's Diddy's alias. They found 2 big bags of peat powder. They found 2 phones and a fanny pack with $9,000 on it, with $9,000 in it. So I guess that was money for him to pay whoever was coming to do that freak off. Yep, during the freak offs, they were covered in the baby oil. So they had everything set up in that room to prepare him for a freak off. Yeah, so they had everything there for the freak off, and the room was fresh. Yeah, and he had cameras. He had a camera set up on the wall. How you go to a hotel and you set up a camera on the wall? Wouldn't you mess up the wall? I don't even understand. Thank you, Brayden. I appreciate that. Make sure you give me a thumbs up. But I can't believe this. But that right there shows a lot of proof that Diddy had a team, because if y'all don't remember, Diddy was super high when they picked him up. That he was very out of it when they picked him up. So we know he didn't set that room up. Somebody else set that room up, which would coincide with the racketeering. And then why he got a big fanny pack with $9,000 in it? That's to pay some people. That would explain the racketeering, y'all. Anyway, so after that lady was on file, she pretty much just showed that stuff. Um, all the evidence that was in the room when they picked up Diddy. The defense was going real crazy at that time. They didn't want the government to be questioning her and asking the Homeland Security lady about what was in the room. So the defense went real crazy. They kept asking the judge to dismiss a lot of the things that the lady was saying in the room, but I believe the judge would not go with it, and he kept it all. So then Dawn Rashard got on the stand, and reportedly she looked very angry and mad, like she did not want to be there, or like she came to tell it all. Okay, so her what she said, y'all, let's get into it. So she said she was 42 years old. They asked when did she meet Cassie. I believe she said in 2015. I wasn't real sure about that. Dawn said Cassie was beat a lot over food. She said Diddy would beat Cassie a lot because of food. She says Cassie was cooking eggs one time, and Diddy came and said, B, where is my food? He said, you never get things right. And he picked up the cast iron pan, and he hit Cassie in the face with the cast iron pan, y'all. Then, when she fell on the floor and was balled up like a baby, he kicked her in her stomach, he kicked her in her head, and he drugged her up the stairs. And the defense questioned they ain't do none of that. The defense asked Dawn, like at this point where Diddy's beating Cassie and dragging Cassie, why didn't you call the police? And she said because he always beat her like that. And she said that she didn't want Diddy to beat her. My thing of it is I wouldn't even be around a man who beat a woman like that, because I would be scared that he would beat me. So, but think about it, you guys. Think about it. This is a very rich and powerful guy. Diddy has a lot of access. You can't deny that Diddy don't have a lot of access to a lot of people and a lot of different things. Remember, he blew up Kid Cudi's car while his car was in his driveway. Okay, so we're talking about a very dangerous man. And I believe the government wanted to bring Dawn up so that she can express, how dangerous Diddy was. So listen, she ain't finished. So Dawn said when he pulled her up to the room, she heard glass shattering, glass breaking and everything. She said it was a lot of bumping going on upstairs, and she said she knew that Diddy was up there beating Cassie real bad. So um so the next day, Dawn said Diddy called her the next day. Fifth graders make joke about Diddy. Wow. They shouldn't even know who a Diddy is, y'all. But so listen, y'all. So the prosecution asked Dawn, well, did you receive a call from Diddy after that? So Dawn said the next day after this incident happened, Diddy called Dawn and told her, he said, we don't snitch, right? And she was like, no. Let me see. He said, don't say anything because, you know, he said last night what you saw was a night of passion. He said it was a lot of passion going on. And he said, we don't tell stuff because when we tell stuff, we come up missing. He is very inappropriate. Very inappropriate. But so pretty much Diddy called Dawn to threaten her to not tell anyone because he told her that people who like to talk come up missing. So Dawn said she was very afraid. The defense was they freaked all the way out. They were arguing with the prosecution at this point. They didn't want the judge to accept the evidence, but the judge did accept it. and they asked Don to leave. The defense ain't want to question Don no more. They said the defense said in the court that Don was a liar and they did not believe her, but the judge let her statement go through with the jury. He didn't tell them to dismiss it, and then they asked Don to step off the stand. Ain't nobody wanted to talk to her no more. Who doesn't care that Diddy does this stuff? Diddy was a monster. Diddy had people. He was paying people to hurt people. You know how many people came up deleted because of Diddy? Like, Diddy is not a joke. He's still not a joke, even though he in jail. Oh, the fifth graders. First of all, fifth graders shouldn't even know nothing about no Diddy though. To be honest. um. So yeah. So that was court today, you guys. That's what happened in court today. It was real messy. I found out a lot of stuff I didn't even know about his daughters. Yeah. Now, if you want to talk about it, let's talk about it because now Diddy's daughters were in court today. His children was in court. His sister was there. His mom was there. His family was there to see and hear all these things, right? But this the thing, when we saw pictures of Diddy having parties, a lot of times I saw his children there. The twins were there, or at least the sons will always be there. So I'm pretty sure this not the first time that these children, and they're not really little children, they're pretty grown. I believe the twins were the youngest. Well, Love, baby Love is the youngest one. But I thought the twins had graduated high school, so I'm not quite sure, but I think the twins have graduated high school. This is very serious stuff. So this is why Diddy is being charged with the racketeering, because they're saying he had a criminal enterprise that was setting up a lot of criminal activity. I mean, what is the fanny pack full of $9,000? What is that for? Hmm? You tell me, what's that for? That's the payout. That's to get you to come and stay and play. And it'll be another one for that person. This is what's so crazy. At this point, when Diddy got caught in that hotel from Homeland Security, when they picked him up, supposedly he came to New York because he wanted to turn himself in quietly, right? But he was gonna have a freak off in the room. So I guess he wanted to have a freak off before he got locked up. Y'all, this is crazy. But he did get high because he was super high when they picked him up. So then he ended up going to jail to detox, which means he didn't have access to a lot of the medications that Cassie had access to, because Cassie still takes medications to help her with her addiction. Whew, y'all. And I didn't even get to hear who they're going to be calling next week. Y'all, it's going to get even juicier next week, but they are done pretty much with Cassie. So they got Cassie out the way. Her evidence, I'm not sure how that's really going to go with the jurors, because I'm not in the courtroom. I can't see the expressions on the juror's face. So this weekend, I'll pretty much be doing some research to find out what the jurors' expressions were when they was hearing all this stuff. Because Amon, he just pretty much talked about how the energy in the courtroom and how everyone was shocked when they shocked to hear that Cassie just won $10 million from the hotel, you know. And then a lot of people in the courtroom, Amon said, were shocked that Cassie was still messing with Alex, was still messing with Diddy while she was with Alex. But let's not forget, she was messing with Diddy when she met Alex. So it's like, because Diddy is the one who introduced her to Alex. So Oh yeah, we know Diddy took her money because remember he signed a contract with Cassie for, remember he made Cassie sign the 10 album deal, which she only made one deal, but she pretty much was selling her soul to him. And he pretty much used her after that, used her and abused her, got her hooked up on rugs real good, and yeah, made a whole junkie out of her. And I believe, in my opinion, Cassie probably got pregnant on purpose because she knew this court was coming up. And she probably said, if I get pregnant, then they're probably not going to put me in jail. They're probably going to try to get me off the stand real quickly because I'm pregnant. They're going to feel sorry for me, you know. So when she would leave Diddy, he would always come back or call her. He would pop up at her house because he was paying the rent there. So I guess he felt like he had right to go there. He would find her. He would send his security, Braden. He would send his security to look for Cassie. Now, I don't know if y'all forgot, but I remember J-Lo said the same thing. J-Lo did an interview way, way back in the day when her and Diddy was dating or messing around, probably doing freak offs too. J-Lo said that she left Diddy and he sent his security to come pick her up. So this is what Diddy does. He's been doing that before because, like I said, J-Lo made a video saying that Diddy did that exact thing. He sent his security to come find J-Lo. She was actually working on a movie set at the time. And once his security said, "Oh, we found J-Lo," Diddy came rushing right up to the set where J-Lo was working. So this is a common thing for Diddy. He likes to feel like he owns his women. And that's why he takes care of most of his women. I believe he takes care of Misha. And if you don't remember, Gene Deal said that Diddy beat Misa up so bad, Misa ran up under a car to get away from Diddy. Drake. I don't know anything about Drake, but this is sounding very bad right here for Diddy. And you know what? Drake probably gonna be next because, if he has been messing with underage people, that's gonna be real bad for him. Cause that's somebody's gonna be next, y'all. Who now this case, they're saying that this Diddy case is only supposed to last about 8 weeks in total. So after this, who would be next? Right, Billie English, yeah, yeah. He was hanging out with her a lot. He invited her to like a party, and I was wondering if it was a Diddy party that he invited her to. Hmm. I don't know. I don't put it past none of them because Kendrick Lamar said he was a pedophile. And then y'all know Chris Brown is locked up. So Chris Brown went to the UK to perform a while ago, and then he came back because he's on tour, right? So he came back to, be on tour again, and they locked him up real quick because of the past situation that happened when he was there the last time. What happened was he threw a bottle at someone in the audience when he was performing, and he messed them up real bad, and the police wasn't able to get him then, but he came back to the UK just recently, when Thursday, and they got him soon as he came to the UK. They locked him up and charged him with assault or something, bodily harm, something like that. I put it in a post, I believe I did last night. But yeah. Oh yeah, he do. They were even saying, Chris, that they believe that Sexy Red was pregnant by Drake. I remember when they were hanging out And a lot of people were saying that Sexy Red was pregnant by Drake. But yeah, who do y'all think is going to be next? Like, what celebrity takedown? We know they'll be black. I don't mean no harm, but we know they're gonna be black. I'm thinking it'll either be now Chris Brown. They denied Chris Brown bail. You know, he's in the UK. Supposedly he went to court today. So I have to do some research to find out what happened with that because they charged him very quickly, which means they already had this case waiting. And soon as he came back to the UK, they snatched him up real quick. And it's reported that he has like seven dates. So he's supposed to be performing all next week, but he had to cancel next week performances because of him being locked up in the UK. So a lot of people had to get money reimbursed for that concert. Hopefully they'll be able to get reimbursed because it all depends on what your ticket master say. You know where you got your tickets from. Yeah. They all do. It's like they have to be a part of something nefarious. It's like they have to do something dirty and grimy to be in this industry, whether it's music, whether it's a NBA, NFL player. It seems like everybody has to do something that is going to go against their moral judgment, you know? Okay, okay. Now, Justin Bieber just came out when yesterday and said that Diddy didn't do anything to him, and he says he's fine. So I'm like, okay, all right, all right. Well, be a victim in silence then, because you know, if you don't come forward and tell what you need to tell, how can we help you? I mean, right. Right, stop the lies. How can we help you if you don't admit that you need help? You know, but it's like, who would want to tell that story though, Braden? You know, like, can you imagine telling a story about you being, you know, introduced to rugs and um, made to have intercourse with a lot of different people? Yeah, Diddy does stuff to everyone. It's because of those rugs. It made him feel strong and powerful. And to be honest, he had a whole lot of power. He did. He had a whole lot of power. And to me, I'm going to be honest, it still seemed like he had a lot of power. Because a lot of people making a lot of moves for him. And then reportedly, his money is dwindling because they're saying that these lawyers that Diddy has, he has like 4 or 5 lawyers. They're saying that he's paying like 15 to 17 million dollars for these lawyers for this case right here. So his money is dwindling, and he's not able to rebuild it or make it grow in any kind of way. You know, it's not looking real good. Well, you know, oh, that's the thing. So yesterday, the defense was saying to the judge that, Your Honor, I'm trying because the defense and the prosecution, which is the government, they were going back and forth about what documents the defense can present to the jury. So the judge was listening to them go back and forth. So the defense said yesterday, I think it was Mark Agnifilio, Agnifilio, Mark Agnifilio. He told the judge, he says, Your Honor, my my client is facing life here. He is fighting for his life. And I was like, who does that sound like but R. Kelly? Yeah, I know what you meant, Braden. But yeah, so Mark Agnifilio, he already said that, yeah, Diddy is fighting for his life because he's facing life in jail. Now, I didn't know he was facing life in jail. I thought he was facing about 15 years in jail. But I guess everything can total up the ex bracketing and the racketeering, and I forgot what else he's being charged with, but I guess that could all total up to a life sentence. Either way, it's still gonna go down because Diddy still has to do the trial. He still has to be a part of the trial for the Tupac case. If you don't know, and I haven't heard anything different, but Tupac's uncle or brother or something. I don't know. Some of Tupac's family filed a case against Diddy about Tupac's passing. So, what's the guy name? The guy who supposedly shot Tupac, he's in jail in Las Vegas. Well, he said he didn't shoot Tupac. He said his nephew did it. Then he said he not sure if his nephew did it or if somebody else in the back seat had did it. So I don't know. Anyway, I forgot that guy's name, but he said that Diddy paid him or told him he was going to pay him $1 million to get rid of Tupac, and that's what they did. So, that's a case that's about to go down or going on. I'm not even sure. I got to follow up on that because it's two cases. Tupac's family is filing a case against Diddy, and then the guy in Las Vegas, dog, I can't think of his name. He has a case that's going on right now, I believe, because they're wanting to charge him with the murder of the deletion of Tupac. And of course, remember, he said that he did it because because Diddy said he was going to pay him $1 million, and Diddy never did pay. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, dog, I can't think of his name. Keith, Kid, it's like it's coming, it's coming. Kid. I don't know. Anyway, the older guy who's locked up in Las Vegas, he wanted to do all that bragging, doing all those interviews, saying that his nephew deleted Tupac, and then the police pull him in court and lock him up, put him in jail, and now he's talking about he didn't do it, he didn't have anything to do with it. But nah, you had a whole lot to say back in the day, bruh. Talk that mess now. Yeah. But yeah, this mess is very, very messy. Okay, Dawn did not come to play today. Okay, Dawn was like, I'm going to tell it like it is, and she definitely told it. So they're thinking that, of course, people are thinking that Arbery, is it Arbery? Arbery all day, whatever her name is, the girl who was in the Making the Band group, the one who really didn't like Diddy. I believe her and Diddy I think Diddy end up paying her a settlement for something. I'm not quite sure about that, but I think he did. So I'm not sure about that, but I know they didn't get along at all. And she was doing interviews talking about how she couldn't work with him, but she really wasn't saying why. So I'm not sure why she's not coming out right now and telling her story, but hopefully she will testify. They're also thinking that Gina may testify, but I don't think Gina testified because Gina was just like Cassie, very in love with Diddy, like would do anything he say. So yeah, I don't know. But who else? Jonathan Adi, he may testify. Who else? They got Lil Rod, and the Lil Rod is there every day. I'm thinking he might have to testify because why is he there every day? His case was dismissed. And Don Richard, her case was dismissed. Remember, she had her own case against Diddy, and that got dismissed. But then she ended up testifying for this. So I don't know what happened with her case or Lil Rod's case, but what's Inspector Ray? I'm gonna have to look that up. That sounds like something I would want to watch. Inspector Ray. But yeah, so next week will probably get real good. It'll be just as good. So we're going on what, the third week already? Because last week was the first week, then this week, and then next week. So really, that would be 2 weeks, I guess. But because it started last Monday. So from last Monday to this Monday will be 1 week. And then next week, next Monday, this Monday coming up will be the second week, kind of, or is that 3 weeks? I don't know, but I know it's gonna get real juicy, and I'm gonna be right here to report it, and we could talk about it in the comment section because I got time. Okay. But yeah, I was real surprised to hear about Chris Brown, but I know the industry has really been wanting to take him out for a while now. So, and I need to find out what's going on with the Tory Lanez case because, yeah, I can't wait, Chris. Because that's crazy as well. Y'all know the bodyguard told Tory Lanez people that he heard Kelsey say that she was the one who shot Megan. And, you know, Tory is still locked up. Well, he's actually in the hospital recovering from being stabbed. So he got stabbed a couple days after the bodyguard told what happened. So I'm thinking it's probably somebody who's in Megan the Stallion's camp that paid that guy to try to kill Tory Lanez or delete Tory Lanez, and it didn't work. Oh, are they on YouTube, Brayden? I'm gonna have to look them up. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to check that out because I like to get little details. You know, I'm nosy. I like to find out what's really going on, the behind the scenes, and you know, I like to know stuff. Oh, well, I was so busy today. I didn't really get to see a lot of what's going on and get a lot of updates on other people. And then I had to get, you know, the update, the latest information on the Diddy trial, especially since Cassie was on the stand, you know. So I know they interviewed Cassie most of the day today, and then Dawn and the other lady from Homeland Security, they weren't interviewed that long at all. They're once they were on the stand, it was real quick. They was on and off real quick. They wasn't questioned a whole lot, but today was real good. We found out a lot of information, even though I ain't even gonna say it. But yeah, we found out a lot today. But that's all I have, you guys. I will be back with another video once I get some more information. And we could probably talk about this tomorrow. I'm going to try to get on my live here so we could talk about this and more tomorrow. Whatever y'all want to talk about, we could do that. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching my YouTube channel here. I really appreciate it. Make sure you guys give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, you guys. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers. Can I get 500 subscribers already? Oh my goodness. OMG, okay? Make sure you guys hit that bell button so you'll know every time that I come on my live here, and we could talk about stuff in the comment section. I love you guys. Have an awesome evening. Peace.